Proud to be here with Brother Spruce. Really appreciate this. Welcome to the Reasoning.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you being here. Took the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Spruce Don is, I call him Spruce Don, affectionately, Spruce Don.
And affectionately, he's Rich Nice. You know what I'm saying?
Affectionately Rich Nice. Spruce is a barber in the Newport News Peninsula community, well known throughout. How many years?
I've been here 32, going on 33 years.
In Hampton Roads.
Barbering in Hampton Roads.
Yeah. Also, I consider you a community leader. This is part of the reason that I wanted to give you this platform, you know.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I receive what you receive, all the energy that you're bringing.
Yeah.
You've gone to your lengths to bring your equipment here, and it really honors my spot. Yeah. That you're here. I'm honored that this was your intention to do this.
Yeah.
You know, we being honored and humbled at the same time. But at the same time, I have to even match the energy of why we here. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
Long time.
So
as a barber in the community, I think sometimes you could automatically become a leader, because not every barber becomes a leader. You know what I mean? But I consider you one of the leaders of the conscious community, you know, in this area. And you're just the leader of the black community. So in this area, you know, a lot of people know you. Is it not so?
Hampton Roads been good to a brother.
Hampton Roads. You started off Canary.
Right.
Okay. Where'd you start then?
I started at Capital Cuts.
Okay.
In Norfolk, right across from Norfolk State. Ironically, I couldn't get a chair at the barbershops that were here because my New York license didn't translate in Virginia. So I went who would embrace me. And I didn't have a problem going to Norfolk, and this was 1990.
Wow.
This is September, October. It was October 1990 where I started at Capital Cuts on Lafayette. I cut a few heads there. And that was a beginner shop. And they were like, no, you're not a beginner. So they put me right over there by Norfolk State. This was back when it was, because it's on Tidewater Drive now.
Okay.
But back then it was on Park Avenue, catty corner across the street. So
I remember Capital Cuts.
Yeah, Capital Cuts is still there. Capital Cuts still rocks on.
Capital Cuts is a franchise, isn't it?
Shout out to Junius Thompson.
Yeah.
Shout out to June. Shout out to my man Sporty. Anthony Sporty Harrell at Perfect Gentleman.
That's what's up.
In Virginia Beach.
That's another barbershop?
Well, he was my manager.
Okay.
And I have a great amount of respect for him. So that was before. And then Hassan and I left there, and we went to Canari's, because shout out to Canary, because Hassan knew Canary. He had introduced me to him. He said, yo, that guy I introduced you to, he's opening his own shop.
Okay.
So, because Canary was at Elegance in Motion.
Okay.
Canary and Kanem. See,
these are way back.
We name dropping. Yeah, Elegance in Motion over by HU.
I vaguely remember Elegance in Motion.
Yeah, but it was in that parking area, that area that we were just talking about earlier. So he said, my guy's opening a spot. Let's go. And I said, hey. And then by that time, I acquired a Virginia license. So I was like, yo, because I lived here.
Right.
So
you was on this side.
I was always on this side.
Yeah. For people that don't know, we call in Hampton Roads area, we look at it as sides, like the side of the water. You know, so Hampton or Peninsula is like Hampton, Newport News. There's a certain side of the water, and Norfolk is the other side. He was trekking over the bridge over 64.
By hook or by crook, sometime.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a car, it would be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
To try to get over on that other side. Was no Uber.
Yeah, of course.
And nor was there connective bus line.
Yeah.
No connective bus line.
So at the time, you couldn't even. It was long distance.
It was long distance.
It was long distance to call to
It
Norfolk.
was long, yes, sir.
Which is only a 20-minute drive.
Yes, sir. It was long distance to call from this side of the water to Norfolk. Absolutely.
Right. So if you had
to
client that you was late for, or they wasn't going to show up, they had to pay extra.
I didn't have a cell phone yet.
Oh, that's true.
That wasn't even in the. Those weren't at play yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Cell phones were big.
Right.
Sitting on the battery.
Yeah, you said 90.
1990. September 30th, 1990. I got here.
Nobody had cell phones.
No.
Okay.
The first cell phone I saw was huge.
Yeah.
And not the Nino Brown ones from New Jack City. I'm talking about the battery,
Yeah.
and then the phone thing sat on top of the battery.
Yeah.
And it had
but
that coil.
It wasn't, ubiquitous like that. Everybody didn't have one.
No.
It was like
only people who were supposed to have them or really needed to have them had them, because pages wasn't really blown up yet.
Yeah.
So
because that was like
really,
if you had sorry to cut you off, but if somebody was late, I mean, those days you had to keep to what you said. Like if I'm gonna be there at 3, you had to be there at 3.
I had to be there. I like to make my own hours.
Yeah.
So in New York, my hours were 11 to 7.
The way I met, for people that don't know, the way I met you, you know what I mean? I was coming to Canary.
Right.
I was at Hampton.
Right. Canary had a lot of Hampton.
Yeah. And I was seeing Cali.
Right.
Good old Cali.
Shout out to my man Cali.
And I remember you used to always be like, yo, I could get you. And you know how people is like, little
well, you have
hesitant.
to honor. You have to honor protocols.
Yeah.
Me and he was your barber, but you and I would talk.
Yeah.
And then we vibed off the same music.
Yes.
Which is the reggae.
Even then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's how I wound over here.
Okay.
Because you was over here.
Okay. I knew, but I didn't know how we connected. I thought you was like
just music,
I got
and
you.
Conversation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then
one day I was like, all right.
Yeah, one day it just happened. You was in my chair, because protocol is I'm not gonna take anybody's guy. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me,
yeah,
then I'll begin the process of consideration, because I got to work with these guys. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be gone, so I try to keep peaceful. You know.
But it took like, all right. After one time when I showed up, he wasn't there. You went to me. I'm like, okay, this dude is all right. And then from there, it was Canary, and then you moved over.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I came back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think is the state of barbering?
Barbering
today, compared to, I guess, what it used to be.
The state of barbering is just like the state of people. You know what I mean? And by that I mean you can be a great barber. You can be a great artist, right? But it all a lot of time depends on how you promote your art, how you do your art. A lot of it is very important in terms of, are you there for your client, or are your clients there for you?
I feel like that's what's missing in a lot of services.
Craftsmanship, attention to your craft.
Yeah. What you just said before about, are you there for your client, or is your client there for you? And this is a service.
It's a service industry.
This is a service.
It's a service industry.
Service, the root word of service is serve.
It is.
And I feel like not just barbering, but a lot of things. The idea of serve is gone.
And it's okay to serve.
It is.
As a matter of fact, not only is it okay, but in
it is honorable.
The scriptures, it is certainly honorable that who wishes to be great, let him be a servant.
Yeah.
The servant is the greatest person, because he cares about the people. He cares about his family. He cares about his community. Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely. So focusing on your craft, because there's plenty of people who can cut better than me. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can't do my thing the way I do.
Yeah.
And when you pay attention, when you I honestly, genuinely pay attention to my client. The state of barbering, going back to your original question, I like the state of barbering in that it is advancing. It's not stuck in the old model. People are automating their income. People are automating their appointments.
These apps.
With the apps and so on and so forth.
Are you using any of those?
There are
You don't
plenty
need to
of
use those.
no.
I think if you're a veteran, you've been around here for a while, you don't need an app.
No, I don't need an app. Honestly, I don't need advertising.
Yeah.
People call me, but that's only because of what I've gone through, what I've done, the work and the sacrifice that I put in.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that the universe rewards your efforts.
Yeah.
What you put out comes back. The sacrifices that I've made to stick with my craft has been rewarded. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I stuck in it long enough to hang in there long enough to see the comeback.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful.
Yeah, because
I'm super grateful.
The app allows people to not have the personal connection. Because if you think about it, it allows them. It doesn't mean they all don't have the
perfect example of what you're saying.
Right. Because when you have the app, you don't have to get to know anybody. People just make an appointment. Mm-hmm. You cut their hair.
You don't even know who that person is.
You ain't gonna know, and you could know, but it does allow people to kind of be disconnected and just come and get the cut and cut hair, and leave. You pay and leave, and you don't even pay directly. You pay through the app. Mm-hmm. But you know the way. I think the value of a barber is sometimes the fact that I think I seen this even somewhere in somewhere on social media where a barber is sort of like a mental health professional in a way. Like,
you better believe it, brother.
I don't think anybody who cut my hair for any period of time, if I liked it, you know, I couldn't help but build a friendship with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when you were talking about, you know, the state of barbering, I think that's part of what the state is, and the whole serving thing. You know, I mean, I shouldn't even be the one rambling about this. Like I'm a barber.
No, because you have to speak as, you know, as a client's perspective.
Yeah, because I am a client.
Right, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
your conversation is valid.
Do you think that a lot of barbers aren't here to serve? They're here to just get money, and they're not really serving in terms of just doing one cut instead of doing what the customer asks for.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I can't speak for a lot of barbers.
You're not paying attention to nobody.
No, I don't. And it's good and it's bad. Mm-hmm. It's good and it's not so good. I function as I do. I do what I've always done for 39 years. And even when I was in school, I remember, give the client what they want. That was my job. Yeah. Just give the client what they want. And even if it's ugly, if I think it's ugly, it's of no consequence. If I give you the mirror is your friend. I make the mirror your friend. You know what I'm saying? And then my work is done.
That's a fact.
The only thing after that is to finish the exchange.
That's a fact.
But I can't speak for a lot of the. I can only speak from the feedback I get from people who say things that are unpleasant.
Right.
Or they get their line pushed back, or they don't want the coloring and things of that nature. Yeah. So I do my thing as where I have coloring if you want it.
Right.
But I strive to make my craft and my work look like you don't need no color.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it fits you. It fits your face. It fits where your cheekbones are, where your ears are, right. Your eyes, nose, and mouth is, and it fits your head shape. You know. Do
you think that's that complaint about hairline and enhancing, is that an older people issue, or do you got people of all ages saying, yo, they all just pushing hairlines back?
Nah, I think the hairlines being pushed back is a thing. That's a symptom. It's symptomatic. You know what I mean?
Because it's something I gotta, watch out for. I gotta tell people don't push it back.
There's a lot of people that don't want their line pushed back. Yet there are some people that do.
Yeah.
So I position myself to where I can do both.
Yeah. We call them linebackers.
If that's what you want. Yeah, no doubt. But if you want it, if that's what you want,
right, I
got to make it look dope.
Right.
Because you got to wear it and you're going to pay for it.
Right.
So it's my job to make. I don't do this. I don't do. Look, son, if you want your line pushed back, right, I'll push your line back.
Right.
As long as it's even.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll put the razor on it and whatever have you.
Yeah.
Because it's facilitating your result.
Speaking about the mental health part of it, how do you feel like for me, I think, there was a period when, for me, you were like a mental health, you were mental health support for me. I'm not going to say mental health professional, right, but, there was a time when I was going through it. I was over there living in the room.
Okay.
Upstairs. Yeah. I was renting a room.
The man did.
$80 a week. He put this thing up. He put this plastic thing up so that his AC couldn't go up to the room, So it was a lot of days when I just had to get out of there. You know what I mean? Because I was trying my hardest to make it here. I'm not the only person, I'm sure, because I would vent with you.
Right. What's crazy is I wasn't able to acknowledge that part of it until I was knee deep involved in the game. I never saw it as, I saw it as a platform at best for people to vent. And of course you allow them. But then, you realize that people bring serious things to your table. Yeah. People bring serious information, and then they trust you with the sensitive information.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait a minute, this guy's going through problems.
Yeah.
He's having problems with his wife.
Yeah.
He's having problems with his whole family, his job. This guy is clearly under pressure.
Yeah.
What can I do? One of the first things I do is just listen. But one of the other things you can do is suggest. Now, if you ask me for more than a suggestion, I can do that too.
Right.
But me as a barber, I have to prepare myself because as barbers, we are in tune with the human condition.
Yeah, should be.
You know what I'm saying? We are in tune with the human condition.
Yeah.
And it's not more than 5 things that we are all dealing with from one time to another. It's not more than 5, maybe 6. But I guarantee you, it'll be one of those few things that you're going through from whatever time it is, because, and this is by experience. So we talking 39, 40 years of field research. And that's real time. That's the realest. That's not books.
I think that's a testament to your character, and to the service you provide, that after all these years, so many people still, they still have a strong affinity for you. So many people still come to you because after all that sharing, clearly you haven't taken that for granted. Because when people share, that's a vulnerability. They make themselves vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And of 40 years of you having some integrity about that.
It's something that you don't pay attention to it until it impacts you, and then you're like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, and when it does, like, and what's happening is when the women, the sisters, when they trust their grandchildren to you, and they say things like, my grandson just loves you.
Yeah.
Like, they say things like, you one of the few people in his life that's positive.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, man, it bring you to tears, man. It bring you to tears. The thing that doesn't bring you to tears is the part where how we let our kids be out there like that. I'm not supposed to be as influential as I am.
Right.
This young man's supposed to have his fathers, his uncles.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But
cousins
or are you supposed to? Like in the ancient
I
days, right?
It. Right. I accept it.
We were all part of it.
Right.
So you become like an extended uncle daddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's humbling.
Yeah.
That part is really humbling. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
That part break me down to tears, and I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
But
ain't nothing wrong with it.
When I think about it,
yeah.
It's like, man, it's like, damn. Well, and then yes, you like, yeah, the divine has chosen you to do that.
Yeah.
The Most High, you are chosen to function in that capacity. So that's what you continue to do.
Right. You receive it. Because a lot of people will say, I'm not a model. I'm not a role model. Yeah, you don't choose.
Nah.
The person who looked at you.
Right.
And decided to make you, they just look and they just see it and they just said, I want to be like him. Or her, or whatever.
It's awesome. So what I've done and what I do is buy my graduates books. Think and Grow Rich, either by Napoleon Hill or Dennis Kimbrough, depending on availability, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Nice.
You read that. Me too. And it's imperative that those books are read, because that lets you, especially Think and Grow Rich. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You determine where you are.
Right.
You're either self-employed. You're either employee. You're self-employed.
O.
Wait a minute.
Owner.
Owner.
So you got you got employee, which is, I don't know, it's the upper left, and then the
quadrant.
Self, the quadrant, the 4 quadrant. The self is the self-employed, which is the bottom left, and the self-employed is really basically an employee that just works their own hours. And in Robert Kiyosaki's words, not exactly, but you work even harder.
Yeah, you do, because you're earning 100% of each dollar that you make.
Right. Now, I might have this wrong. I think the owner is the next level on the top
the
right.
Owner is the next
O.
one. And then
it's the upper right, and then investor is, in his mind, is the best space you want to be in.
So now you're moving into investing, you're moving into philanthropy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that the most, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
But I remember that one the most.
But they probably
you can determine where you are,
right, and you can mix it.
Problem.
You can mix it,
whatever works,
right? Because I think if you're an employee right now, you could invest in things. I'm an employee, right? But I try to find little things to invest in, and I'm also an owner. I do a little of this, and I still work my job.
So that was what I would get them. All my young clients that I've known, they've been my clients for life. I've been their barber for their life, their lifetime. I buy them those books when they graduate college.
Nice.
So, graduate high school. And I tell them that just because you're in college, you have to learn how to read away from the curriculum, because reading is based on passing the test.
Yeah.
No, you read to feed your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Reading is what makes you or enhances your intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The more time that you spend away from these devices, the better. And I think part of being a barber for me is the adage of fair exchange is no robbery. Because when the man is in my chair, or a woman is in my chair, or a child is in my chair, I put energy into them.
Yeah.
I ask them questions about their day. How do you feel about current events? How do you feel about the news? Or how do you feel about your school?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, and it doesn't take long for them to realize that you genuinely have an interest in them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not for the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get your money. Mm-hmm. You're going to get your money. Your money is a byproduct of what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do it. Do the hell out of it. Do the heaven into it. You know what I'm saying? Do it, yo, because it's gonna, when it loves you back, boy, you're gonna be overwhelmed.
Right.
And you're gonna cry. Cause you never thought it would be like that.
Yeah.
I never thought I would have what I have. Just with these, it wasn't my plan. This is a divine plan. It wasn't my plan to just, you know, I had my barbershop in New York. The barbershop I had, Comishia. Shout out to Larry Love. Shout out to Eddie. Shout out to everybody. My homeboys up there in New York. Because I'm blessed to had been able to own the barbershop that I was raised in.
I didn't know.
In Hempstead, Long Island.
I didn't know you owned a barbershop.
I did. The owner passed away. He transitioned. And we were left, you know, trying to navigate from there. But through the process of elimination, the owner of the building approached us as the barbers. I was the only one who had a license. So that put me in charge. That's what happened. It was approximately 4 years, from 86 to 90. I owned that barbershop.
Nice.
And I held that distinction, that honored distinction of keeping that spot going. But I did leave. I did leave. But I didn't think that I'd come down here and, no.
Right.
It wasn't my plan.
Right.
It was divine plan.
Right.
So I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
So I give thanks.
You
This is
definitely
not
are.
the only thing.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's not the only thing, you know.
It's definitely not your only thing.
No.
And you know,
not by a long shot.
we could definitely get into that. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
I think that has a lot to do with
that falls under art.
Yeah.
That falls under art.
Well, I don't know which layer you're talking about. Which one of your other layers you're talking about?
Well, everything I do falls under art.
Okay, I received that.
So
Yeah.
it's all art. Of conversation.
Yeah, and definitely that's your art. That's how we collect. You know, you have that gift of gab. You have that talent of listening, interpreting, and giving it back in a positive way.
It's crazy, yo.
You know, and that side of you, which I call like the conscious brother, the conscious leader side, you know, I think that's what helps people to connect to you and keep coming back to you. They're like, especially ladies, you know, that have young fellas they want to bring. Because I think a lot of women want to bring their child to a place that's positive.
I don't never want to fail them.
Yeah.
I don't never want to fail the sisters, man.
Yeah.
It's something about that situation with the ladies, man. I don't never want to fail them.
They're bringing their young men here.
They're trusting you, yeah.
They're trusting you.
They're
I've seen these women leave.
They
I see
done
them
been
drop them
through-
off and they leave.
They done
And I
been
see
through-
kids coming here and they treat you like family. They treat you like you're a, you know, whatever, Uncle Daddy or a big brother, whatever.
They know that, you know, if you're genuine with them, and you yourself know,
Yeah.
as a teacher, as a former teacher,
Yeah.
when you are genuine with them, the children resonate, they vibe with you.
Yeah.
It's natural for them. They know you care.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't know them that well,
And they see how
they
you
know
interact.
that you care.
There's things that people don't know. Like the kids see how you interact with their mom. And that tells them, they see how their mom interact with you. And that tells them, okay, this is someone that my mother trusts, you know, or my grandmother, because you got grandmothers. I know grandmothers bring their kids to you too.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I told my young man, he's now his own entrepreneur. He flips houses. He's in the real estate industry. He's a big time shut him down wholesaler.
Nice.
With the houses and stuff.
Nice.
But his mother brought him to me. And it just dawned on me because I was in New York. And his mother called about his appointment. She called me in New York from Virginia about her child's appointment. I said, I won't be back until such and such a time. So she was meticulous about when I'll be back and when her son would be able to get his hair cut. So when I got back here, the little man was in my chair. I said, yo, man, your mother really loves you. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Not because of me,
right?
But she makes sure every week she's meticulous about keeping you at a standard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Standard of grooming and so on and so forth. And I said, man, you know.
How old is this kid?
Now he's probably 25, 26.
But at the time?
At the time, he was 10. You know what I'm saying? I said, your mother loves you, yo. She brings you to the best barber on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But I watched her. I watched myself through how she maintains her son. And like I told sister earlier, through discipline and consistency, you can obtain anything in life that you want. Just those two things alone.
Right.
Discipline and consistency. I'll just say that. I'm just putting that out there as a blurb, as a quote, as a factoid,
as a jewel.
As a jewel. Thank you. I like that. Thank you. Discipline and consistency. And his mother was on point. She was meticulous about him being here. So if you're meticulous about being here, I have to be meticulous about also being here.
Yeah.
And giving you what you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's only right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me to be on my level.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I want to switch over to something else.
Cool.
I already said that I consider you conscious, brother. You know, Hampton Roads, like, you and I have a certain music we like in common.
We love that.
We like reggae.
Absolutely.
We like foundation reggae.
True.
We like some of the dancehall.
Right.
You know.
Early
and there
90s.
was there's a segment
90s
of time. 90s definitely. 90s dancehall.
Yes.
You know, but there was a period of time when conscious reggae was big, right?
And that was my favorite time.
Yeah,
that was my favorite time.
That was the days of Boscomex, you know, Sizzler, Capleton.
Yeah. That was the resurgence.
Yeah.
That was the resurgence.
Yeah, that was the resurgence. And Hampton Roads was all in it. You know.
Used to be a thing, used to be a vibe.
Nowadays,
okay.
Consciousness, I'm steering into something here.
All right.
We've always used this word, stay woke, right?
Yeah, woke.
It's part of our culture.
Now it is.
Right? But it's being used
in a lot of other places. It's a mainstream.
What is it? What do you think? What does woke mean? We've had
like you
it.
said,
it was
you said
ours.
it already. You said it already because all right. When I was learning, I started learning, and
started learning.
I started studying
consciousness, knowledge of self, self-awareness,
Black awareness,
African roots,
things of that
heritage,
nature, all of those things,
etc.
Those things became because to me that was the half that never was told.
Yeah,
it wasn't taught in school, and I went to a black school, Hempstead, Long Island School District, the black school district. I didn't learn much about
black by the residents.
Black by the residents, black by the admins too, because Hempstead High School, when I went, the principal and the vice principal were black.
Right.
Not only that, they were brothers.
Okay.
At that, and majority of the teachers were black, and the majority of the students were black.
Okay.
Hempstead has changed now. It's a lot more Latino there.
Yeah, all over, everywhere. Yeah.
In Long Island. So I started studying around '86. And then hip hop was very instrumental.
Yeah.
I started listening to reggae in '81, and the first thing was Bob Marley transitioning. So the first thing, was the roots. That was the foundation. But, by '85 and '86, I started reading extracurricular information. Mm-hmm. I'm reading for the sake of reading. Mm-hmm. I'm learning for the sake of learning. Mm-hmm. And I want to look cool too. I want to look like Malcolm.
Yeah,
right.
It was a thing. It was a thing
because we had the X.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. And hip hop helped made it fashionable.
Yeah,
because guys were throwing off the dookie ropes and putting on the African medallions. Mm-hmm. Hence, I'm kind of manifesting myself the way that I am, but this is comfortable for me and I love it.
Right.
because it's jewels. It's all about manifesting those jewels. This is just a visual aspect of doing that. But that's a whole nother full circle of things. But the consciousness and wokeness,
I feel like
they should be the same thing.
That's what I was gonna say. They should
be the same thing. But now you talking woke now, and I hate to have to say this, you might have to edit it out. But when the Caucasian community start using our slang words, we don't even want it no more. We're done with that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So now, you have DeSantis talking about some woke politics.
Yeah.
I don't know what woke politics is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was learning, brother said, "What's up, black?
Yeah.
Peace, black man.
Yeah.
You positive?
Yeah.
Everything positive? Yeah, everything's positive, black man.
Yeah.
Peace to you as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was it. Yo, you conscious? You know what time it is? That's what we used to say. Yo, what time is it? He ain't talking about the clock time. What time is black people on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are we moving forward? Are we progressing? And if not, what are you doing?
Right.
Because it's about what you're doing. It ain't about what we're doing. It's about what you're doing. If you're looking for somebody else to do some stuff, don't worry about that. You focus on what it is that you're doing, because the energy that you put out is what's going to visit you back. And that's what's going to bring everything back with it. It's going to bring you everything that you put out. But it will, as they say, what you put out, you cast your bread on the waters and it come back 7 times, sevenfold. Yo, that's a fact. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen like maybe how you want it to.
Right.
But that's how it is. So, woke, whatever. Listen, ain't nothing going to happen until we support and patronize and build our own businesses.
Yeah. I feel like
we won't be able to survive.
Yeah.
Until we learn how to depend on each other again. We don't depend on one another. So therefore, I don't need you.
Yeah.
We cast each other aside. I don't need you. I got my job. I'm gonna get my money over here.
Right.
I'm good.
And sometimes
if I need you, I'm gonna put up with your and you're gonna put up with mine as well.
It's hard.
Cause we need it. Yeah, but if we need each other, and push come to shove, we need each other, and we are our only way out of this problem. We're going to do what we got to do. Mm-hmm. Just like other races. Mm-hmm. Just like other cultures of people.
Yeah.
They put up with they can't stand each other. Mm. But, hey, I'm getting money with this guy, so I got to get this money. Mm-hmm. We're not like that. Mm-hmm. As much as we talk about not having feelings, our feelings are very much involved.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as somebody hurts your feelings, I don't.
Yeah. I wanted, I wasn't even trying to be political with the woke thing, even though.
Oh.
But. No, but it's cool because I think that I think it's our words, our culture. We have to own it. We got to, we have the word. We use the word.
We create all the time.
We created it.
We create all the time.
And it's attractive the way we use stuff, the way we do stuff. And
we are the trendsetters.
Yeah, so we have to define it. So no one else can take it and define it. You know what I mean? Like you said, an interview, don't forget that thought you was gonna say.
All right.
But I seen someone get interviewed, and it went kind of viral. And she was asked, "What is woke?" Mm-hmm. The lady said, "Can you stop right there and just to make sure we're on the same page? Can you define woke?" Mm-hmm. And the lady just went into a fluster of she couldn't get it out, and she claimed she spent a whole chapter. Defining this word. They did a bunch of research. Mm-hmm. You can't do research. Where did you research? It's not yours. You know what I mean? So she went into what you, and she didn't know what it was. But
she went into the emotional realm,
right?
Because she didn't have a logical answer,
right? So that's why I wanted you to give us the definition. And to me, woke.
But woke is when you open your eyes, right? Same thing with consciousness,
right?
Okay, so you're conscious. When you're asleep, you're semi-conscious. Because when you sleep, your subconscious takes over your conscious thoughts. Your conscious thoughts go to sleep. So your mind is always active, right? So you're semi-conscious when you sleep. Mm-hmm. When you wake up, you're fully conscious. But so you're woke. When you wake up, you're woke. You're aware of your surroundings. But then you have to get up out the bed.
Right.
Then you have to put your feet on the ground.
Right.
And then you have to implement your plan and your strategy. So it's not enough just to be woke. It's not enough just to be conscious. This is just my version.
Speak.
That's,
Speak.
That's all I can speak on. It's not enough. We have, it's good. We are great.
I think it is coined by us. I think what we have to see
it's coined by, but now it's being used by others that's outside of us.
Right. But I think what we have to see is that we have to listen to the way someone is using our words.
You spoke earlier about perspective on things.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think I'm not going to say I think. Sometimes you got to read. You got to know where somebody's coming from. And you got to look at the whole perspective, like you said. When somebody's using our word like that, certain entities, certain groups, it's really trying to make fun of you.
Sometimes you don't know the difference.
Yeah, when they're using it like that.
Sometimes you don't know the difference.
Yeah, woke culture. It's really a way of making fun of you.
That sounds like gangster rap. We never called it gangster rap. We just listened to rap. We just listened to the hip hop music. Somebody else coined it and termed it gangster rap. And then they created a whole delineation of people who belong in that category.
If you look across African descent cultures in America, in Jamaica, in other Caribbean islands, we use English, but we use it differently. We intentionally use it differently at times. Sometimes it's inadvertent, but it becomes pervasive. And that's just like, so we know that woke is not the proper tense, right?
Right, we know that.
But this is how we use it. And you can look even, if you look in
you say it, I know what you mean.
Right. If you look at Southern state, like I think it's New Orleans, where they have a certain style of speaking, a certain patois, right? That's intentional. They're hodgepodging language together. Jamaicans do it too. It's not by mistake. It's not that we don't know English, as they say in Jamaica, proper English.
Well,
or the Queen's English. It's not that we don't know how. We intentionally speak our way. In every state, to us we say it's the hood, right? The way we talk, where we from. Everybody, we all have our way of speaking the non-Queen's English or the non-proper English. So when you hear someone who doesn't even know how to do any of the sub-vernaculars,
it sounds
you hear
condescending.
It is condescending. Yeah. It is a way
of
undermining us.
I've certainly been in conversations like that.
Because they don't even know how to speak in proper English. We know where they're coming from.
We relate to each other. Mm-hmm. My nana taught me about Pig Latin when I was a little boy. Mm-hmm. Now that is a total flip of the English language, where the emphasis on the last syllable is put in front of the word.
Yeah, my mother taught me that too when I was younger.
Because those were necessary things for navigation and survival while you were under pressure from overseers and whatever happened. So we had our own way how we relate to ourselves. All we have to do is honor our culture. This is our culture, and we should eat the watermelon, eat the fried chicken, and damn if who look.
Right.
Because this is what we do.
And
right?
It tastes good.
You want to say, and watermelon is one of the best things you can have.
Best.
Electrolytes and, my goodness, one of the best things you can have. Eat it.
We ain't going to talk about it's got a chemical in it that's for vasodilation. You know what I mean? It's an aphrodisiac.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Bring the science, Mr. Nice. Bring the science.
You know I'm the.
You know what I mean? Indeed.
And the what is it? Orange. The yellow watermelon has more of it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the name. I don't know why right now, because I don't have my fitness hat on. You know what I mean? But there's a chemical in there that is for
So there's a reason why we like it.
Yeah, but you were saying, our culture, eat the chicken,
Eat
the
be
watermelon.
proud of what you are.
Yeah.
Be proud of how you are.
Yeah.
Be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
Right? And that doesn't mean that you can't navigate in a corporate setting. That doesn't mean that you can't enunciate and gesticulate and use your 4 or 5 syllable words.
Right.
That's
Code
fine.
switch.
Know how to use that. That's not necessarily code switching. That's navigation.
True.
For us.
True.
We navigating through this.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody. And some people go.
Yeah, because we don't
But
we don't want to wallow. Most of us, I don't think, want to stay in it. We trying to navigate through it every day.
we're navigating, bro.
Every day.
At all
so we can
times.
get back to self.
At all times. At all times. Sometimes you just want to get home safe. Yeah. Sometimes I just want to get home and be in my zone and be around my folks that understand me and I understand them and we can relate and just kick it and be comfortable. That is natural on every, with regard to every culture of people, every heritage of people. It is most natural to get together with those ones that vibe like you do.
Yeah.
And feels like you do. And hey, you light up when you see that person. They light up when they see you because of all what you had to navigate.
Yeah.
That day, week, month, year, however long it's been since I saw you last time. Yo, that is what it's all about.
Word.
It's all about what makes you feel good in your soul, what makes you feel good about you being you. You don't have to alter yourself.
Right.
You never should have to alter yourself, especially if you know how great your history is. Oh, well, slavery is like... Yeah, well, that was a drop in the bucket.
Right.
That was a drop in the bucket compared to all of the greatness that we established around the earth. Around the earth. But study your history. Go beyond. Go as far back as you can with your ancestors. Because within the lineage of your ancestors, your many respective and collective ancestors are the encodements of who you are. I found out that my great-grandfather on my father's side was a barber. And he was married to a beautiful woman who was a medium.
Right.
And she was a seer and she was a spiritualist. I have both of those encodements inside of myself.
Speaking of that, which was what I wanted to go into. What else is Spruce outside of barbering?
Outside of barbering, Spruce is a Reiki master. I've been a Reiki master for about 21 years. Yeah, 21, 22 years I've been a Reiki master, my wife and I. So what is Reiki? Reiki is energy balancing modality of healing. And it brings balance. It brings harmony to one's energy. So this is why I don't do the discounting of the feelings. Because people say, oh, you're in your feelings. We're all in our feelings.
Absolutely.
You're hungry because you feel hungry. You're happy because you feel happy. You're sad because you and your body responds. The cells in your body responds to those feelings. So if you feel sad all over. If you feel joyful, you feel joyful all over. So, but what we do and the situation that we live in regarding our respective jobs and so on and so forth, our respective responsibilities. Some people are taking care of themselves, taking care of a mate, taking care of their children, as well as now, my age, people are now having to take care of their parents. Their parents are reverting back into their child state. So you're being pulled all of these ways. And it creates anxiety, it creates stress, and it creates depression. And those are the things that harm us from the inside. We can actually be a problem to ourselves if we don't know how to effectuate and distribute our energies in a healthy way, as well as give to ourselves as well. So Reiki is something that is a laying on of hands, and it is facilitating the harmony, bringing the person back into harmony with themselves, bringing them back into balance, bringing them back into peace. You cannot create anything unless you are at peace. unless you are quiet, unless you are fed, clean, quiet, and at peace. You will not create anything that you want to advance your life in under duress and under stress. So Reiki is it has saved my life. It has saved me from myself and helped me to not be a problem to my own self and to others, the community at large, my family, and so on and so forth. So shout out to my wife, shout out to my daughter, Ayana, and my wife.
Yes, lovely
Miss Spruce, my
lovely Miss
Spruce. That's my unit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I go home and we get each other.
Absolutely.
We get each other and we're fine. But
talk to me about what you did with me earlier.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Well, Rich came through
with the
Palo. Palo is a Palo Santo.
How do you spell that?
Palo.
Palo.
Palo Santo. And it just actually means sacred wood or sacred stick. But I love the way it smells. So what it's used for is used for, you know how people use sage?
Absolutely.
Okay, so people use sage. Sage kind of removes the negativity, and Apollo brings in the positivity. So I don't have any sage here. So, but I do burn incense.
I'm going to just say you don't have any negative energy in here either. So maybe you don't need the sage.
Well, maybe not mine, but you don't know
so
what
all
people
you need is
bring
the Apollo
with
to just keep adding
well,
on the positive.
I use what I got, and I rock the Apollo, and I bless my brother. Came in.
Good thanks.
Doing what he's doing.
I'm going to need that energy as I flow
to
the next destination.
Yeah. I mean, I only did that intuitively.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't do it for my guy because he don't vibe with that.
Right.
But that's still my guy.
Absolutely.
Word up.
You're respecting his energy, as you was talking about before.
Yeah, but we always wind up talking about it. Because if I asked him about spirituality, he told me, he said, I know nothing about that stuff. I said, well, if you know nothing about it, then it's a whole lot of room for something to be learned. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is just a open space. You know what I mean? So it's just a whole bunch of potentiality there. And so, I don't know. I didn't say his name so good. But on the way back here, we were talking about church, and he was like, I don't like church and this, that, and the third. I said, I hear you. I said, I'm uncomfortable sometimes too in certain things. I said, but if you could create your own church, what would it be like? And he said, oh man, it would just be regular people. People be reading and nobody trying to be fake and nobody trying to put themselves above nobody. I was like, that's cool. That's fair. That's a fair answer to a fair question. Because that tells me what he's looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Authenticity, I guess.
Yeah, genuineness.
Yeah, take off, mask off. I've learned this through yoga. You know that I'm certified.
Yoga's dope.
Yeah.
I was jealous when you got that. That certification.
But you wasn't a hatred jealous.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad for you.
But through the training, and it's something now when I look back I could say I know about myself, is when you say navigate your feelings, I think that's something I do, because when I deal with people, I do engage a lot, and my feelings are involved with people. You know, I don't have that. I was never into being aloof, to acting like I'm disconnected and above people.
Yeah. I'm not good at that.
So when I meet people and I start doing, like, I always in my mind, I'm starting some kind of friendship with everyone it's one thing I have to stop. But as you said, you have to learn to navigate your feelings. And I think when I did a portion of my yoga teacher training, which was, I think it's called Karma Yoga, we go out and we do a service.
Selfless action.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we went to a homeless shelter.
That's one of the principles.
Yeah.
It's one of the maxims.
Yeah. So we went to a homeless shelter in Atlanta. And I'd never been in a homeless shelter before. And I was expecting I was expecting some kind of warning, like, okay, we're about to go in. This is what it's going to be like, but it just happened. We just went in. And once you go in, you're in another world. You walk into darkness. You smell. I mean, I don't know how all homeless shelters are, but you smell drugs in the air.
Oh, drugs?
It's a smoke. It's some kind of smoke.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't think you was gonna say drugs. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I don't. At least in this first part that you walk in, like, I know this wasn't cigarette smoke. It wasn't weed. And I don't know where it wasn't. It wasn't Palo.
I know, right?
You know what
sage,
I mean?
Right?
I'm not saying it was permitted. It was like the first part you walk into.
Right.
Where there's just a lot of people. There's just people just, it's just people just in there. Mm-hmm. They're just shoved in there. I don't know. I don't know a better word. I don't know how to. I'm just thinking about what I saw, and I was caught off guard. And I'm gonna say 99%, maybe 95% of the people look like me. Mm-hmm. And I immediately kind of got like that, And we made sandwiches. Mm-hmm. We made sandwiches before we did this, and water, and we put them in bags, and we brought them to them. And I didn't even expect to feel like this, but when we handed it out, I saw how happy they got, and it just killed me. Like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, water and apples, and they so happy. And the way we get over, like somebody bring us our food, and we get so mad because it ain't cooked right. I ain't even. So talking about, the energy. Mm-hmm. So when I walked out of there, I was a little teary-eyed to see all of our people like that.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
because that means you care.
Yeah, and what the yoga teacher said at the time, Swami, she said that there's a practice called Chittakash, where it's the energy kind of above your head. It's essentially saying you serve without being overly connected, or else you will drain yourself.
Absolutely.
Like that kind of sadness that's comes upon you, that dark energy. That I'm seeing people that they're dirty, like they smell bad, like they haven't had a wash for days. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's the same as you saying navigate your energy in my mind. So I had to try to find that practice where if I'm ever to do that again, I have to have that Chittakash.
Let me suggest something to you. Next time if you're faced with that situation, even if you all of a sudden you happen upon a situation like that, and now you got the foresight, you got the hindsight, so now you got the foresight.
Yeah.
You take a space.
Yeah.
And
that's the word.
You call in a protection around yourself.
Right.
You call in some light around yourself. Right, whether it be from the ancestors, guardian angels, whatever. Yeah. The heart, the universe, going to respond to this.
Yeah.
Not the verbiage, not the proper wording.
Yeah.
It's going to respond to this, and you go into that place. I'm going to share. I'm going to help, and because what happens is, okay, this is me as a Reiki person, facilitating the energy. If someone has an issue. Yeah. And they'll be specific about what issue they want me to address.
Yeah.
You're intentional. You're intentional with your energy. But now, okay, I have to make sure that I'm not attached to their outcome.
Right.
Because I don't know to which level that they're ready to be healed, right? You can't be healed past your current thoughts vibration. Whatever your thought frequency is right here, if you think you're sick, if you think you're not worthy of being healed, if you think you're low and you have been bust down, because people bust down other people. People bust down their children and call them all types of foul things to the point where they don't believe in themselves. They don't have anything to believe in. So they accept the condition as what it is.
I've seen it.
Sure. So you don't know to the degree that that person is ready to heal.
Right.
They may not have that vision of healing for themselves.
Yeah.
You have to see yourself in a better situation. In order, as they say, you conceive it, you can believe it, you can achieve it. But that's true. That's why they say it. It's called manifestation. It's called manifesting. That's how you make it happen. You see it, you hold that vision, and you add to that vision. You add energy to that vision. You add love to that vision. And everything you do serve that vision. I guarantee you, in a matter of time, you are that vision.
Yeah.
You embody that thing. But until people are ready to do that, at the end of the day, sometimes people just need a meal, yo. They just need food in their stomach. Food, clothes, and shelter should never have any politics whatsoever. That's good. You humble in your positioning about knowing of the divine. But there's nothing that exists on this planet without the life force sustaining it. We don't know what sustains our heartbeat because it's part of our autonomic nervous system, which we you have the sympathetic, parasympathetic, voluntary, involuntary.
Right.
We don't control that.
Right.
Well, unless you're a master.
Or
Unless you're a Sri master, yoga master.
Right. But the fundamental meaning of
automatic.
It means self. It runs by itself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So automatic,
so
self-going.
And so God is automatically keeping you in function.
Yeah.
And there's no separating of that, because if you were separated from the divine in any type of way, then you would be no more physically.
Right.
But then your spirit and your consciousness and your awareness still live.
Yeah.
Because you can't kill it.
Yeah.
Energy don't die.
Right.
It just changes form. Spirit doesn't die.
Neither
it
created
just changes
nor
form.
destroyed.
Neither created nor destroyed. So
all
is divine.
Right.
All is divine. Everything is God. God is all that's in all. So.
And you are immortalized by this immortalization conversation. What would you say to people, whether it be the barbers, whether it be to the community? What advices do you have?
Learn how to love yourself.
Words.
Learn how to love yourself. And learn that loving yourself does not mean in an egocentric sense. Or as we used to say back in the day, conceited. He conceited. She conceited. She's stuck on herself. He's stuck on... No.
Yeah, we used to use that word a lot.
Yeah, back in the day.
In New York especially.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I keep those words.
Absolutely.
But loving yourself, a lot of times we accept things that don't support our highest and our best. So identify what those things are and do your best to eliminate that. Spend time in nature. Spend as much time in nature away from your devices as you can. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to sit in silence for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You will find that there's so much, all of the answers that you're looking for externally are right inside of you. And that might be the best advice I could give anybody doing anything. Learn how to tap in to the divine that is inside of you. Go within, you'll never go without. Go inside.
Yeah.
You can only bring happiness to yourself.
Yeah.
And then spread it out. And that right there, it's enough for me. And if it's enough for me, then that's enough. You know what I mean? We are divine people. We are beautiful people. All of us, right? We all have gifts. We all have gifts, you know, and we have virtues and our vices. Balance them. Because if you lived, your first 20 years, you lived with your parents. Your next 20 years, you with yourself now. You know what I mean? So now you're able to determine what's working for you and what's not working for you. And just do your best not to be in the way of your own progress. And mind your business.
Right.
Mind your business.
Right.
And business your mind. You know what I'm saying?
So love yourself. Don't get in the way of yourself. And mind your business.
Your business and business your mind.
The words of Ross, Spruce, Spruce Don.
Bless up.
All the names.
Bless up.
Give thanks for your time.
My God. Lion Paul.
Lion Paul.
Yes, I. Well, I give thanks.
Give thanks.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Thank you for this.